Thank you so much, Chairwoman. And I first just want to say thank you to the public for being here and to testifying, especially to our trans community members and non-binary folks for being so vulnerable at the podium. That is not easy, and I just want to say thank you for doing that. Trans people are not new. It's not a new phenomenon. Trans folks have always been here and always will be here, regardless of what laws this body attempts to pass. It is a very small population of people, and as a result, they have been hyper marginalized. And, we all know just some of the national attacks we've seen targeting individuals just for being who they are. And so the challenge we face is an ability for someone to live a wholehearted life and to be themselves. And this legislature, our commitment should be to do no harm. And I'm very concerned that policies like this are innately political in nature, designed to further the divide between communities and to take away access to care versus expand it. Of course, there's many just administrative problems with this policy that we reviewed. To recap quickly, some of the health insurance changes may not abide by the Affordable Care Act and federal policies. The ID changes may not comply with federal law or other documents like passports. And of course, the so-called coverage of conversion therapy is super problematic. And if you don't know why, I'm happy to unpack that later, but it's not a real thing. It has damaged lives. The notion that an unsupportive parent could bring their child to conversion therapy can lead to suicide. It's incredibly concerning when we don't treat people as humans and we push on them unscientific and medically unsound approaches to the challenge they're facing. I want to also acknowledge the registry concern in case my members don't understand where that's coming from. It's not necessarily the bill says a registry is created. The notion is that when you segment different populations of people into different categories, i.e. here are two different insurance plans. The reality is that individuals who purchase the insurance plan that has gender affirming care are essentially outing themselves. And so that creates a list of individuals who are transgender. So when we say registry, it's not like a literal list. The concern from the community is that you are segmenting populations and outing them without their consent, which again is not only just not government shouldn't be doing that, but it does put people in harm's way. I want to just close with a story. Last week we had our Dr. King parades, across our districts. So we put out an email blast asking folks to join us, to walk with us. And I got an email from someone who wanted to walk with us, but is transgender. And they were scared to walk with us, not because of their own safety. They said, I don't want to hurt your reelection chances. And you being seen with a trans person might hurt your reelection chances. And I almost cried when I read that email because the notion that someone is afraid to stand next to me in a parade because of who they are and they think that's going to hurt their chances for someone like me to be in office was not something I ever want someone to feel or to think. And of course, I was proud to say, not only will you walk with us, but you will be in front, honey, at this parade. And she came not just to one, but to two parades with us that day. And she was here in the Capitol last week, also testifying against some of these relatable bills. And so I understand the intent of the bill might not be to cause harm, but the reality is that these bills are causing a lot of harm. I'm old enough to remember when we never talked about these issues in the legislature. Anyone who was elected in 2018 remembers that too. I mean, it just wasn't an issue, and now it's become that political fodder. And I just would encourage us not to fall for the trap. Don't engage with it. Respect people for who they are. Respect people to access the care they need. Respect and trust families to make those decisions, not government. And so with that, I do encourage all my colleagues to vote no on this bill. Thank you, Madam Chair.